I'm contacting him by holo to arrange our meeting. Wanted you here to help me get a read on him. Opening a channel. Whoa.
This is a tremendous moment, Your Royal Heiress. I grew up hearing tales of the Trajan dynasty, the great battles your ancestors fought. I never believed I'd meet a member of that proud bloodline in person. You have my deepest sympathies for your family's exile.
Risha wants back into Debrillion politics. You can make that happen, right?
You must be the starship captain who recovered the crown of Debrillion. My world is in your debt.
The king wants that crown, and my head. He won't be happy if he finds out we're talking.
The man has lost all reason. He must be removed from power, but in a way that spares our world a bloody civil war. I believe the common people and aristocracy alike would embrace the Trajan dynasty heir, especially if she wears the crown of Debrillion.
I doubt your current ruler will abdicate just because Risha has a better hat.
The king's power base is already unstable. It will crumble under the right pressure. Right now, you are an outsider. The only way to change that is to marry someone from the existing aristocracy.
Get married? To who?
Well, the only available suitor is... Great stars, this is awkward. I am offering myself in marriage to you.
Risha already has a man in her life.
Forgive me, I should have realized. Have you two joined?
Not exactly, no.
Please understand, I do not desire to come between you. That said, the final choice should be yours. I understand my proposal is abrupt, but I wished to make my intentions clear and not waste your valuable time. I certainly don't expect an immediate response. All I ask is that you consider this for the good of the Brilliant.
That'll be easier to do once we've met in person. I'm on my way to Coruscant. See you there, Count. Well, that wasn't awkward at all.
Count was a lot nicer than most of the people we deal with.
Hard to be sure over the holo, but I'm comfortable enough to meet him in person. Under the circumstances, I should probably take this meeting alone. Be back soon, Captain. Never talked to a complete stranger for that long before. Count Reneld gives to charities, builds orphanages, creates wildlife preserves, and those are just his hobbies. You ever consider we've been wasting our lives?
I do everything for one reason: to get rich. It's straightforward, easy to remember, and works amazingly well most of the time.
Ah, the simple life. Anyway, I left the negotiations open. I told the Count I needed time to think about his proposal. That'll give me a chance to run a deep background check. If this guy is as good as he seems, he just might help me overthrow the king without getting married. Count Reneld is a man of his word. He sends me daily updates about his rebellion's progress. Incredibly sweet, beautifully written updates. I knew taking Debrillion's throne would be a challenge, but this is getting complicated. I'm not falling for him, but I might have to take this marriage proposal seriously. It's smart politics.
If you think I'm letting some wealthy pretty boy come between us, guess again.
Don't you get it? My whole future will be spent with wealthy pretty people. When I am queen, my days of racing the hyperlanes are over. Can you honestly see yourself settling down on Debrillion? I'll stop bothering you. I needed to talk, and you're the only person who understands me.
Does your new boyfriend understand you like I do? Because if he doesn't, you should think about that.
He's not my boyfriend. I'm sure there's trouble somewhere with our name on it. What do you say we go take all its credits? I can't hold off Count Reneld forever. I have to answer his marriage proposal someday. But I want to make an informed decision. I was hoping you could help me out with that. In private.
I have a lot to say on the subject. I recommend we lock your door, so our conversation isn't disturbed.
You think of everything. That was a very persuasive argument.
Sweetheart, this debate's just getting started.
You've put some thought into this. I'm, listening intently. You know, crowns and thrones aren't that great. I could maybe live without them. Or you could trade in this starship for a palace. What do you think?
You're the only treasure I need. Everything else pales in comparison.
I'm not done talking to you. Well, that was an enlightening discussion. I think I'm gonna have to disappoint the Count. But first, I need some rest. Let's talk again later. Things on Brilliant have taken a turn. The King's put a death mark on Count Renald's head. When the citizens heard that, they rebelled. The King imposed martial law to stop the rioting. But that got the aristocracy riled up. The whole planet's going to war.
Sounds like the Count's plan to avoid bloodshed by marrying you just went up in flames.
We were never going to unseat the King without a fight. I just hoped we'd pick the time and place. Needless to say, the Count has his hands full just staying alive. But even with all that's happened, he still wants to marry me. I can't keep putting him off. Any advice how I should play this?
You can't marry the Count. You're spending the rest of your life with me.
What? I asked you for advice, not... Do you really mean that? Oh, perfect. Time's up. That's him calling on the Hollow. Alright, let's do this. Merritt, I'm glad you're safe. From what I hear, the fighting got worse after you escaped.
I cannot spare the Brilliant from war, but perhaps we can still create a better future together. I realize forging a true relationship takes time, and our marriage won't be consummated for some time, but I am hopeful. My proposal stands, dear Risha. Will you marry me?
Come on, this is a no-brainer. Sure, he's rich, handsome, and popular, but I'm me.
I'm sorry, Merritt, but I can't argue with logic like that. He's had my heart longer than you. I hope we can still be friends. I'll need you to rebuild our world when the war ends.
Of course. I look forward to the day you grant me amnesty, so I may return to Brilliant. Farewell, Risha. May the stars watch over you.
That ended better than I expected. Except for that whole part with my world being at war.
You said no to the Count's proposal, but I seem to recall you had a second offer on the table.
It's under consideration. I promise not to keep you waiting for long. That's enough politics and relationship issues for one day. Let's go steal something expensive. I always feel better after a good caper. Didn't think you could still surprise me, but proposing in front of Count Renald, that was a whammy. I wasn't sure if you were serious then, but I am now. And my answer's yes. Whatever happens, however long it takes, when I'm finally Queen of Brilliant, you'll be my king.
It's about blasted time you came around. Do you have any idea how many beautiful women I turned away to have you?
Call me vain, but I hope it was thousands. We'll have a royal wedding someday, but let's do something personal right now. I, Risha Drayan, take you as my future king. I promise to be faithful and always apologize when I get snippy with you, except when you're wrong.
What you said, plus this. I'll never skim more than 10% off the royal treasury.
Only 10%? You really do love me. What do you say we make this even more official? So, how does it feel to be married?
Come to my quarters this time. I've made some modifications for you.
How can I resist that offer? You never told me you were an engineering genius. I'm staying in the captain's quarters from now on. Just because we're married doesn't mean we can settle down. We've still got lots of people trying to kill us. I've been thinking about the future a lot lately, and I had a funny realization. Every scenario I see, you're in it. I guess that's only right, all things considered. But still, Never thought I'd get this close to anyone.
That kind of talk makes me want to turn out the lights and put up a Do Not Disturb sign.
It's funny you should mention that. I've been considering a related topic. When we take over Debrillion, we'll need to start thinking about producing an heir. Maybe more than one heir. That's how dynasties stay healthy, after all.
The more the merrier. I'll put the little scoundrels to work building me a new ship.
Great idea. Father taught me all about starships when I was growing up, and I turned out great. Just think, someone with my intelligence and your reflexes, there's nothing that child couldn't accomplish. We owe it to Debrillion. Whatever happens, I promise any child of ours will have the best of everything.
So, what was it like, Noctrayan? I'd been asking Risha, but she gets all weird and prickly about it. She actually slapped me when I said it'd be a better story if you turned out to be his long-lost son. Even Rogan was impressed when he heard you dug up the old man's treasures.
Yeah? What's your distress? Talk to me.
How refreshing. The whole "I'm honored to serve you, revered master" does get tiresome. Master Sumali, I've been following your career. I hear you have a special interest in the Void Wolf.
Is there something I should know?
I was hoping you might want to hurt him, and save a life while you're at it.
And here I thought when you joined the temple you were done chasing street scum. Welcome back.
We're at war. We all serve how we know best.
It sounds like there's a story here.
Not one you're going to hear. She is who she says. Let's leave it at that.
We're not born to the robes, Captain. The Force sometimes picks unlikely candidates. Risha, do you remember Shar's Kartur?
What did they used to call us? The Triple Threat? Didn't she join the SIS?
One of their top agents. When you took out the White Maw's cloaking abilities on Hoth, it drew the Void Wolf's attention. He went there, and Shar's followed.
Alone? Is she crazy?
The Republic sent an entire platoon of troopers to escort her. The Void Wolf's assassins killed them all. She's alive, but trapped on Hoth.
Is there a special guilt power in the Force? Jedi always make me feel like I'm talking to my mom.
Ah, the sign of a heavy conscience.
When I got Sharis's distress call, she had taken refuge in one of the Void Wolf's private vaults. Go quickly if you can. I fear you're Sharis's last hope.
Shh, keep it down. Risha? I thought that sounded like you. Did you finally decide to join us on the straight and narrow?
Hardly, but I figured it's just like you to go ground in the enemy's treasury.
I figured it was the last place his bloodhounds would go sniffing.
Master Sumali called this the Void Wolf's private vault.
Mostly cleaned out, but I was hoping I could learn something about his plans. And yes, help yourself. The Void Wolf's been recruiting. He's courting Hutts, the White Maw, hitmen for hire. Anyone who won't pledge loyalty goes to hard vacuum. And he's got enough spies in our space station that my cover was blown the minute I landed. What do you think? Is there a way you can smuggle me up without any of his people or our people catching wise?
As it happens, smuggling's my specialty.
Ah, now I see where Risha found you.
You wouldn't even imagine. Set course for Voss then, Captain? The permits from Dodana just came through.
Voss. That rings a bell, but...
Our next stop, genius. Home of Rogan cyber attack dogs. I took the liberty of looking into the place. Weird planet. Just made contact with the rest of the galaxy after a Sith ship crashed there. Apparently the whole planet's on the leash to some cult of Force users. Empire and Republic are both playing along. This'll be one to wear your best shirt. And remember to say please.
With the rest of the casualties.
You could have hit something important. Aim for the foot.
Or the brain. I'll get Port Nowhere back up and running, Captain. You're going to need a base of operations, and someone at the wheel you can trust. No offense, but you're better at finding credits than keeping them. Even my father needed a broker for his empire. Gives you time to do the fun part.